What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you about the spontaneous camping trip where just everything went wrong. So basically last week I had a gap on Monday morning to Tuesday night where I had no uni, I had free time. So I messaged Jack, Lockie, Max and Soph, and the plan was to go camping for just that about a 30-hour period just to get out of Sydney, have a real good time, and just go see an awesome waterfall, have a great little adventure. The plan was to go about 3 hours north to a place called Barrington Tops. We're gonna stay in a forest called Chichester State Forest. So on Monday morning, I went and picked up Jack, Lockie and Soph, and we drove from the center of the city all the way up to Max's place, which is on the border of Sydney. And as soon as we left, we ran into our first problem. And that was that we forgot to bring anything to cook with. But obviously that is not a massive issue, so we just decided to get some barbecue chickens, a bunch of salads, and some bread, some fruit, and that was gonna be our dinner. Small little setback, but not a massive issue. The rest of the way up there was smooth sailing. We had a brilliant drive, we had heaps of fun. It was a really beautiful area. And so basically you end up going off the coast and heading really far inland, and you just start getting more and more farms, more and more hills, and it was, even though it was raining, it was really beautiful. Now on the way up there was a couple of weird things that happened to us. We had this. Sup cow, bro?
Don't get close to its head.
Ooh.
You're looking real like...
Are you gonna pat it?
No, he's too far.
Oh, I can get... Look at them all crossing. And then we had the strangest thing that to this day we still have not figured out. And if you can figure out and know why this is here, then please leave a comment below. This is what we stumbled across on our way up to Chichester State Forest.
What the fuck is going on?
I can't focus it. Why are there so many shoes? There, I got it. There's so many shoes. What are they for? Do you reckon
I just want to know why. And how do you get so many shoes?
That's what I want to know. Why are they here? Now, shortly after that weird little incident, we end up approaching what's called a causeway. And a causeway is basically like, almost like a bridge, but it's usually about the same level of the river. And in this area that we were in, apparently it doesn't rain that often. So it doesn't really matter that the causeway is the same level because the river really rarely flows over it, and if it does, it's in really small amounts. However, when we approached our final causeway before entering the state forest, that is when this happened. Road subject to flooding. And it's flooding.
Oh, if we're going all this way.
Now what do we do? Zach's gonna test the depth of the water. I can't believe how much has happened in the last 10 minutes. We've had cows, shoes, kangaroos, eagles, and now water. Be careful, Jack. He's like, I don't know if I want to go any further. So basically we thought, okay, this is not going to be a massive issue. We can drive Griffin's car across the car I was driving, and we know it's high enough that it will definitely be okay. So we drove that across, no issues at all. But then Max thought, I don't really want to risk it. He had a bad feeling about it, and we fully supported him. We did not want to push him into an uncomfortable situation. So we drove the car back across, and we decided to fill everything up in Griffin's car, and then we would pick up Max's car the following day. Now we thought this plan was solid and super responsible because we knew it was going to be raining that night, and we thought if the causeway floods a little bit more, then Max's car will definitely not be able to get through and we'll be stuck on the other side. Little did we know that this was the wrong decision and the wrong option to take. However, after making that decision, we drove into the state forest and it was super beautiful. There was, even though it was raining and super cloudy, it was really moody, really mystical. Now we knew it was gonna be raining that night, so we set up camp as quickly as possible, chucking a tarp over our heads to stay dry. We came so unprepared. We are absolutely hopeless. We have no equipment. We have nothing to help us. We've just found random pegs we're using a peg that we found here. We're using a rock. Where's our hammer? This is our hammer. We also had to improvise by cable tying the tarp to the car. And as soon as we finished the setup, we had about an hour and a half until darkness. So we went from exploring and this is what it looked like. This place was beautiful. So we wanted to continue exploring, but it just started getting too dark and we couldn't really see anything. So we decided to go back to camp and start a fire before it got too dark. Once we got back to camp, it started bucketing down with rain. Even though we had the fire going, it required two of us to constantly be fanning it to keep it going. Even though we'd built it well, the rain was just too powerful and kept trying to put it out. As it got dark, we then also realized that we didn't bring any torches, which is probably the biggest rookie error ever. We did have our phones, but because Max's car was left on the other side of the causeway and inaccessible, we had no way of charging our phones, which means our phones were gonna die really quickly if we used them as torches. So with darkness approaching, rain increasing, and the fire going out, which was our only source of light, me and Jack went to go find another campsite to borrow a light. And thank God, luckily enough, there was someone who was able to let us borrow their light and light up our campsite for the night. Not a lot, but enough. So it just started getting heavier and heavier with rain, and there was no way we were gonna be able to keep the fire going, so we just had to let it go and die. So that night we ended up sitting under the tarp in the pouring rain, in the freezing cold, just drinking. Nevertheless, we still had a brilliant time. We were remaining positive. We still were going to see that waterfall the next day. We did not want to go up there and just drink. We thought tomorrow, even if it's raining, we will still go see the waterfall. We were pretty determined and we knew tomorrow everything was gonna be fine. It wasn't fine at all. So the next day we got up around 9 o'clock, super hungover. We packed everything up as quickly as possible and the plan was to go get Max's car and drive with Max's car to the waterfall and check out the waterfall for the day and then drive home. We had to be back in Sydney by 6 o'clock, which means we had to leave around 2 o'clock to make sure we got back in time. So we left the state forest and it was still a beautiful moody drive, and then we got to the first causeway and this happened.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. It's way deeper.
Is your car there still?
Oh, it's different. It's half a meter.
It's half a meter deep.
That's about half a meter, isn't it? It's like the tire. It'll get up to the tires. So
I have no idea what we should do.
At that high, is that enough to push it? You've seen videos of floods and fucking cars just getting pulled a long way. Should
We don't know what to do. We're gonna have to ponder on this. It's really scary. Now we decided it was probably too dangerous to take the car across, and we didn't know what was going to be on the other side, and we knew there were more causeways that could also be underwater. We just decided the best course of action was to go find a local, find a farm, and ask them for advice. This is now turning into quite an adventure. So we came to this farm behind me, and we've knocked on the door to ask them, you know, what should we do? And we have to drive 40 minutes back through the forest to go right round and get to a town called Dungog. So that's what we're going to do now. At least we can actually get out, because she said the rain's setting in for another 5 days and it can get worse. So we kind of need to move before the forest gets worse, because we don't have 4-wheel drive. Really, coming unprepared for this was not the smartest option. We probably should have prepared a little bit more. So with limited time on our side, no phone battery, water but not a lot, and no food, we decided that that was definitely the best course of action, to drive through the state forest and back around to this town, and then back around to get to the back of Max's car rather than the front of it, and take the road we originally took to get to the state forest. So with all these limited provisions, we start gunning it, trying to get out of the state forest as quickly as possible, because we also realized that the rain was not going to go away, and we were worried that we could just get flooded in or the car would get bogged because it was just mud roads, and we did not really have the car suitable for mud roads. We didn't have a four-wheel drive or anything. So we're getting out of there as quickly as possible. Now by this point, for an only 24-hour trip, we've spent over 6 to 7 hours in the car just driving around. And even though we were doing that, we were having the best time, playing games, having all sorts of fun. But we were still really sad and really worried that we were not going to get Max's car back. And we get back to the dirt road that takes us to the state forest. And when we got to the first causeway, we realized there was no saving Max's car.
Like, yeah, we can not cross that. That's even worse than the other one. Sorry, Max.
Shit happens. It's all good.
Max ain't getting his car back. Well, waterfall fail, salvage Max's car fail, camping kind of failed. We really just failed at everything. It's some of the last 24 hours.
Having a good time, guys.
We had a lot of fun. We've been in the car for the majority of the day.
We said majority of the
Literally just driving around this area. It's a beautiful area, it's amazing, but yeah, we did not come very prepared and we failed.
And then in situations like this, it shows that no matter what the situation, if you've got good company, you're gonna have a good time. But yeah, that is the spontaneous camping trip where everything went wrong. Next time, we're gonna be a lot more prepared. We will bring what we need, and we will, maybe take a bit more consideration into the weather and try and plan out a little bit better, because everything failed in that regards, but it was still a brilliant time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little story. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, really helps out the channel. And if you're new to my channel, I do all kind of creative, adventurous videos, so hit that subscribe button and come join the roaming family. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Much love. Peace out.